30 seconds. 20 seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening. Welcome to the November 28, 2017 Poquoson City School Board meeting. Mr. Brown.
Today our pledge leader is Brady Fiscal. Brady is in Miss Brennick's 4th grade class. Brady swims competitively with 2 Poquoson swim teams. He swims on the Riptide team in the winter and the Barracudas in the summer. His favorite subject is math because he is good with numbers. Brady is thinking about joining the Army when he grows up. His father is in the Coast Guard Reserves, and Brady feels like he would like to help people and serve his country by helping people.
Please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our inspirational reader is Isabella Elterman. Isabella is known as Izzy to her classmates, is a 4th grader in Miss Knight's 4th grade class. Izzy loves to play with her pets, and she loves to help her mom bake cupcakes and cakes, and enjoys watching Minecraft videos. Her favorite subject is writing. When she was in the 2nd grade in Colorado, she discovered she liked to write while she was working on a report about tree frogs that live in the rainforest. Tonight, she will read a piece that was written entitled Why We Celebrate Veterans Day. Izzy also read this at the PS Veterans Day celebration on November 10th.
Why we celebrate Veterans Day by Isabella Elchman. Veterans Day is very important. Why? Well, we celebrate Veterans Day because that is the day we honor the people who have or are serving in the armed forces. We celebrate not just one, but all 5 of the branches, including Air Force, Coast Guard, Marine Corps, Navy, and last but not least, the Army. Now, let's get into why we celebrate Veterans Day, shall we? Well, celebrating Veterans Day isn't just about having fun. It's about celebrating those who risk their lives for ours, and those who fight in wars for us. What some of us don't know is that people from the Navy, the Marine Corps, and everyone in those branches lose their lives to save ours. We are so lucky to have these amazing people in our lives, or else who would fight for us and defend us. These people make our lives easier and safer. Without these people, we would have no one to make our lives as safe as they are today. The Marine Corps, Navy, Coast Guard, Air Force, and the Army defend us every day of our lives. Here are a couple things about each of those branches. The Navy and Marine Corps, well, to start off, they have about 381,000 sailors on active duty and 158,000 personnel on ready reserve. The Navy and Marine Corps both battle on water rather than land. The Navy has boats that carry other boats, such as submarines. Sometimes they have special boats that can carry planes and other boats called aircrafts. Now, about that Air Force. Well, it's the complete opposite of the Navy and Marine Corps. The Air Force fly instead of battling on the land or water. The Air Force is made up of aircraft such as fighters, bombers, helicopters, and transport aircrafts. Sometimes the Air Force flies in formation. Formations are when the aircrafts fly in patterns. Now, about the Coast Guard. It is a part of the United States Department of Homeland Security. The Coast Guard's purpose is to protect people, environment, and understand security of the United States on seas and lakes and rivers. The Coast Guard uses boats, ships, planes, and helicopters to stop terrorism, smuggling, and other crimes. Now, the last but not least branch is the Army. The Army is the branch that mostly fights on land. Usually, the people in the Army are called soldiers. Modern armies have vehicles such as tanks, helicopters, and airplanes. There are 2 different ways you're in the Army. You either volunteer to join the Army, or the government made you. The soldiers do many things, from just shooting enemies to digging defensive trenches. The Army usually move together. That way, the team can do more things more safely. All of these branches, no matter what they do, are helping and defending our country. Now, I hope you learned a little bit more about why we celebrate Veterans Day. I hope you all are very thankful that we have all of these branches to make our lives easier, safer, and better. Thank you to all those veterans out there.
Thank you, Brady and Izzy. Mr. Holcomb, will you introduce the student presentation tonight, please?
PES third graders learn the commutative property of multiplication and are tested on their ability to apply the skill on the third grade SOL mathematics test. Mrs. Judy Morgan is the Math Title I specialist at PES and works with all third grade classes throughout the year. Tonight, with the help of Ms. Steigerwald's third grade class, they would like to teach you about the commutative property of multiplication using math balance beams and other math manipulatives. The students are Isabella Neiman, Carter Jones, Eli Green, Hayden Horning, Carlton Gill, Heath Reynolds, and Jared Stevenson.
Good evening. My name is Carter Jones, and I'm from Steigerwald's third grade class. Some of my friends and I are here to demonstrate that you actually can be creative and have fun while learning your multiplication facts. Multiplication gives the total number when you join equal groups. The basic idea of multiplication is repeated addition. We have learned that the number you multiply are called the factors, and the answer to a multiplication problem is called the product.
In the book Amelia's Amazing Dreams, we read how the main character, Amelia, observed and learned multiplication was all around her. Our class went on our own multiplication exploration and found the same. We were encouraged to do the same at home, too.
Memorizing multiplication facts can be tricky. There are so many facts to memorize. Lucky for us, there are some fun strategies, computer programs, and hands-on manipulatives that can help. We will now watch a clip from our class in action use the balanced number beam to break down multiplication facts.
Row is a different color. Okay. Using your vocabulary, math talk.
Jared and Hayden will demonstrate how to use the balance beam. Today we will demonstrate 9 times 2. We think
the product might be 16. To represent two groups of 9, we'll put 2 weights on the 9, and we'll put 1 weight on the 10, and we will put 1 weight on the 6. We see the balance beam is not balancing, so we have the incorrect product. So we will move it at 1. We still do not have the correct product, so we will move it up 1 more. We see the balance beam has balanced, so that means we have the correct product.
Today we will be also demonstrating 12 3 times 4. We think the product might be 12. So to represent 3 groups of 4, we are going to hang 3 weights from the number 4. And 1 on the 10. And 1 on the 2. And we see that the balance scale balanced, so 12 is your correct product. Manipulatives can also be simple household items like dice or cards.
Manipulatives can also help reinforce the commutative property of multiplication. The commutative property of multiplication means changing the order of the factors does not change the product. For example, 3 times 2, the commutative property is 2 times 3. We will now watch a video clip of Heath and Hayden using the number balance beam to demonstrate commutative property while using their multiplication vocabulary too.
How many groups of 7? 2. So your multiplication sentence was 2 times 7. Okay. Now, how could you show it another way? If I don't have enough room, I can go to the other side. Okay. It balances. Because it balanced on the other side. And the commutative property.
We hope you've enjoyed learning that multiplication is more than just memorizing facts.
The next time your child needs help with their multiplication, try to explore some imaginative, creative ways to make it more engaging and meaningful. Use simple items or manipulatives you have lying around in your house, like dice, cards, and even Fruit Loops. Thank you, and have a good evening.
Well done, thank you. If you guys, you and your parents, students and your parents could stick around, we're going to do just a couple of recognitions, and y'all can help us clap for these folks who are being recognized, and then we'll take a break, and the school board would like to come out and visit with you before you go tonight. Would that be okay? Good, good, good. Dr. Parrish, do we have any additions or modifications to the agenda?
We do not this evening.
Great, let's move on to recognitions.
First, what we'd like to ask is that our volunteer of the month for October come forward. She was unable to make our October meeting, so if Donna Lambright would come forward, please. Her husband's attending with her this evening. She is the president of the Poquoson Middle School PTO and was vice president of the PTO last year. She is also currently serving as an Odyssey of the Mind coach for Poquoson Elementary School. Last year, she served as the PMS PTO Vice President. Mrs. Lambright was active at her daughter's previous school, holding the position of Volunteer Coordinator and President of the Sango Elementary PTA in Tennessee. Mrs. Lambright is also active with agencies outside of school. She's a member and strong supporter of Relay for Life, an advocate for the military and their families, a member of the Association of the United States Army, and a member of Hopkinsville, Kentucky Eclipse Committee, who prepared the community for the solar eclipse on August 21st, 2017. Mrs. Lambright's dedication to Poquoson Middle School is evident by her continuous efforts to support school-sponsored activities. Her leadership, skills, positive attitude, and willingness to help are just a few of the characteristics that make her a valuable asset at Poquoson Middle School. Please join me in congratulating Mrs. Lambright for being the Volunteer of the Month. And next, I'd ask that Susan Northcott come forward. A very familiar face for us. I know, and we're happy about that. Mrs. Northcott is the Volunteer of the Month for this month for November. She retired from teaching at the elementary school last year. This year, she's come to school a couple of days each week since the beginning of September to help PES continue with its yearly project of releasing the monarch butterflies for the nationwide program Journey North, which tracks monarch migration to Mexico. Susan has helped keep the caterpillars stocked with plenty of milkweed to eat, and when the butterflies emerge from their cocoons, she has coordinated with the PES teachers and their students to release them. PES thanks Susan Northcott for all of her time she has given to PES this fall to once again make this a successful and rewarding project. Please join me in congratulating Susan Northcott for being the November Volunteer of the Month. And I just want to thank the two of you. You're just a small representation of the volunteers that we have in our schools each and every day who do a tremendous amount of work for us. Well, now I'd also like to bring up another familiar face to us. If Brody McDevitt would come forward, please. Brody is the November PHS Student of the Month. He's an outstanding young man and is an exceptional student at Poquoson High School who plans to continue his education by majoring in the field of engineering, accounting, or finance. Brody has been a member of the National Honor Society, Mu Alpha Theta, Thespian Honor Society, Drama Club, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Student to Student, and Spanish Honor Society. He has also used his strong leadership qualities as a member of the Poquoson High School varsity football, basketball, and track and field teams. He is not only academically or athletically focused, but also has a love for performance. He has been a member of the show choir and performed in numerous musicals and drama productions at Poquoson High School. He is also motivated to help his community. He is a hardworking and dependable young man who has volunteered his time with a number of community organizations, including NASA Langley Strategic Analysis, Communication and Business Development. Brody is interning at NASA at Science Systems and Applications, Inc. He also participated in the SNAME boat design competition and won first place in 2016. Last year, Brody served as a school board student representative He also volunteers with his church in a variety of ways. Please join me in congratulating Brody and wishing him the best of luck in the game on Saturday. It's wonderful having you back, Brody. Now we would like to recognize our high school's golf team. So would Josh Brown, Sean Connors, Brianna Trombetta, Nicole Trombetta, Lane Seeley, William Buzz come forward because each of them qualified for the state tournament. And we also ask that Mr. Todd Bowden, the golf coach, come forward. To get their certificates, I'm going to read a little bit about them. Here's Coach Todd. The 2017 team finished as district champions, regional champions, and state runner-up, or second in the state. The team was led by Josh Brown, who was the #1 golfer in the district. Brianna Trombetta, a freshman, had the 3rd lowest scoring average in the district. Josh and Brianna both shot a low score of 72 at the regionals to propel the Islanders to the state tournament. Nicole Trombetta had the 7th lowest scoring average in the district and had an outstanding season, as well as William Buzz and Lane Seeley also finished in the top 20 in the district with the lowest scoring average. Sean Connors was an integral part of the development of the golf team over the last 4 years. He shot a back 939 last year in the conference tournament to help lead the team to a first-time conference championship. At the 2017 state tournament in Harrisonburg, Virginia, Josh Brown led the team with a 72 the second day of the tournament, and Brianna Trombetta shot a 78 the second day. The team shot a 2-day total of 640 to finish in second place behind Appomattox High School golfers who shot a 626. We also want to recognize Drew Parr, Bryce Moore, Chad Jinks, and Kyle Jackson for their contribution to the success of this year's golf team. The majority of the team will be back next season to make another run for the state championship. Please join me in congratulating the PHS golf team and Coach Todd Bowden for their fantastic season. And we have another recognition this evening. If Clint Galt would please come forward. Clint is coming to us this evening after having placed 3rd place in the state in cross country. He's a senior at Poquoson High School. He's been on a track team since 5th grade. He is a 3-time state champion, placing 1st and an A9-time all-state runner throughout high school, with the most recent occurring at the cross country 2A state meet, placing 3rd. Clint has been the team captain for 2 years, and he has just accepted a scholarship to run at Virginia Tech while majoring in business management. Please join me in congratulating Clint Galt on his success in cross country. And on another note, each fall we have the annual Run for the Bulls, which is a fundraiser for our Poquoson Education Foundation, and every year Clint has won that. So he did say he would come back from Virginia Tech next fall, but I suspect he might be busy. Those are our recognitions for this evening.
Thank you very much, and we're going to take that short break.
You go ask the teacher where they bought it from.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on to presentations and reports. Ms. Woodruff, could you come forward and give the financial update, please?
Good evening, Chairman Cass, members of the school board, and Dr. Parrish. It's that time of year again, so for the finance report, I was going to review the budget calendar with you for the upcoming FY19 budget process. So between December and March, we will hold meetings with the PCPS Benefits Committee to discuss the division benefits as they relate to the budget. We anticipate that the release of the governor's budget proposal will be on December 18th. However, we will not receive the calc tool at this time. The calc tool is published by the Virginia Department of Education and outlines the state funding for school divisions. This is published after the release of the governor's budget, which means that we will not know what the governor's budget means for us until sometime in January. On January 10th, the General Assembly session begins, and FY19 is the first year of the biennium, so it's the long session, so it won't end until March. We will hold a budget public forum with the school board on January 30th, and during January through March, we will have budget updates and discussions will be held at the work sessions. On March 20th, Dr. Parrish will present the proposed budget at the school board work session. This is presented later this year because of the General Assembly being in the long session. Typically, you might see it a little sooner, but since the long session will be later. On March 27th, the school board will need to hold a special meeting for the public hearing on the proposed budget. There will be a work session afterward if needed, and the school board can decide to take a vote on budget approval at this meeting if desired. If they don't vote at the March 27th meeting, you'll have to hold another special meeting on March 29th so that we can approve the budget because we have to get it to the city by the end of March. There are multiple opportunities for the community to provide input on the budget. The superintendent meets with faculty and staff for the input on the budget. Parents and community members are encouraged to attend the public forum and public hearing. Input can be provided through Let's Talk, which can be accessed through the school website. Additionally, you may contact the superintendent by calling, visiting, or emailing. We do anticipate another challenging budget process this year and appreciate input and continued support. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. I think we just did this. Can we not skip it this year?
It comes quick.
Any questions or comments? Thank you very much. Mr. Pappas, could you come forward and give the, what are you going to talk about? Operations update.
Good evening, school board, Chairman Cass, Dr. Parrish. This evening's operation report, I'd like to start off with the fact that PCPS Transportation just added 2 substitute bus drivers to our roster. Very grateful to have additional trained bus drivers. Prior to being certified as a bus driver, an individual must receive 24 hours of classroom training in a classroom with a certified trainer, followed by 14 hours driving a bus without students with the trainer. Then they must pass a rigorous state driving test. 1 error, and you're finished. You have to come back 2 weeks later. And then lastly, they have 10 hours of behind the wheel with students and the trainer. It's a rigorous process, and we are very grateful to have these drivers. In the area of safety, additional enhancements will be being made to our schools over the next few weeks as a result of the grant that we received. This takes the form of cameras predominantly at this stage. In the area of food service, as is our tradition, parents of primary and elementary school students are invited to join their student for a Thanksgiving meal prior to the Thanksgiving break. This year we served 303 parents at the primary school and 255 parents at the elementary school. Next year we will add a second day to the elementary school to help facilitate a smooth process. In the area of maintenance, we're working very closely with Dominion Energy to help us complete the track project. Dominion Energy graciously has donated 6 60-foot-long lighting poles, and they will install them either next week or the week after. And once installed, these lighting poles and the attendant fixtures will illuminate the high school track and the infield. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Pappas. Any questions or comments for Mr. Pappas? Thank you. Dr. Fox, could we get an instructional update, please?
Good evening, Chairman Cast, Vice Chair Whitaker, members of the board, and Dr. Parrish. This evening, I'd like to provide you with an update on our 2 Department of Defense educational activity grants. You'll hear them referenced as DODEA. And I'm going to give you a quick update on some of the recent revisions from the Board of Education for accountability and our graduation requirements. So again, here are our 2 DODEA grants. One is called Project-Based Learning. I'll reference it as PBL. You've heard of these before. And our STEM for All, which focuses on science, technology, engineering, and math. So currently, our STEM for All grant is in year 3 of the $750,000 grant, with Mr. Todd Pirelli serving as the project director. This grant has a focus on integrating STEM education into our K-12 classrooms. Students are afforded the opportunity to demonstrate the 5 C's across all grade levels. The 5 C's are communication, collaboration, creativity, critical thinking, and citizenship, and they're critical skills of the 21st century that all of our students need. Additionally, our new website has a page devoted to STEM work that's being done across the division, as well as providing resources for teachers, students, and parents. Our division-level math committee, which has representatives from each grade and from each school, has been working on updating the new curriculum guides to reflect the recent changes to the math standards. They also recently participated in a professional development session called the Manipulatives Fair 2, which was a follow-up to a popular professional development session that we provided last year. And you can see one of those products tonight was the balance bar. All of our K-8 math and special education teachers participated in professional development this summer that focused on understanding the revised math standards, using the new curriculum template, and engaging students by using various math activities and hands-on manipulatives. Our STEM committee at the division level is working on developing actionable ways that teachers can incorporate STEM into their curriculum and planning for our first division-wide STEM day in the spring. We're looking forward to that. In October, we celebrated World Space Week. So our students participated in a variety of STEM activities. At the primary school, students explored the aviation and space exhibits at the Hampton Air and Space Museum. They participated in a hands-on presentation and viewed an IMAX movie. Elementary school students were part of a presentation called Living in Space, where they learned about living on the International Space Station and sampled astronaut food. Our 6th graders learned about the vast scale of the solar system through hands-on presentations from the Jefferson Lab, and our astronomy students at the high school learned more about the relationship between the sun, the moon, and the earth from guest presenters from the Back Bay Astronomers Club. Switching gears to our Project-Based Learning, or PBL grant, this is also a 5-year grant. We're in year 2 of that $500,000 grant, with Dr. Chelsea Culp serving as the project director. PBL also creates opportunities for students to learn and demonstrate the 5 C's. We're currently in the first year of full implementation at the high school, and this year is the planning year for the middle school, and they will begin full implementation next year. This past summer, all of the PHS faculty and administrators participated in a 3-day PBL 101 session with facilitators from the Buck Institute. This professional development prepared teachers to implement their first project with students this year. A parent and student information session was held in August at the high school to share more information about PBL and to provide a question and answer period for those who attended. And again, our new website also features a PBL page, which has information and resources for students, parents, and teachers. This past November, through what is called a sustained support visit, the Buck Institute National Faculty member Eric White met with PHS teachers to provide direct support as they continue to develop and implement their PBL projects in their classroom. Additionally, we have a division-level PBL steering committee, which is comprised of division-level staff, principals, and the PBL director. They meet regularly to ensure that we have sustainability of the project-based learning grant beyond the years of the 5-year window for the grant. Also at the high school, the ambassador group meets regularly to discuss the implementation of PBL challenges and successes. This group is comprised of one member from each of the departments in the school, and they provide feedback to the project director. As a part of the middle school planning process this year, teachers will participate in what is called a Project Slice Day. This professional development for teachers demonstrates what it's like to be a learner in the PBL process, and they are essentially immersed in the PBL experience for the entire day. And finally, here are 3 quick examples of some of the PBL work that our students and teachers are doing at the high school. You've probably seen a little bit of press recently about our Veterans Project. Students met with veterans to learn more about their personal stories and their experiences, and their summaries of these interviews will be shared with the Friends of the National World War II Memorial or the Poquoson Museum. Students are also working on city planning and development. They are conducting expert interviews with members of our City Council, our City Planning Commission, and other city employees about planning and development. Excuse me. The information they learn will be used to continue to study the development and expansion of cities and different programs. And finally, they're also creating what are called PSAs, or public service announcements. Students have a driving question of how can we, as a lobby or special interest group, influence the passage or failure of a Virginia Assembly bill. They researched the bill, including the author, the pros and cons of the bill, and decided if they wanted to campaign for or against the bill. They then created different PSAs designed to influence the public on the bill and shared those with each other. And finally tonight, just a quick update for you. The State Board of Education recently approved revisions to the standards that schools must meet for state accreditation and the requirements that students must meet to earn a high school diploma. The revised standards of accreditation are designed to encourage continuous improvement for all schools, to place an increased emphasis on closing the achievement gap between student groups, and to provide a more comprehensive view of school quality. The revised graduation requirements take effect with next year's freshman class, the class of 2022, and we'll see a reduction in the number of verified credits that students must earn. We will provide for you a much more detailed overview of all of these changes at our December meeting. And that concludes my report this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fox. Any questions, comments?
Okay,
Quiet group tonight. Thank you. Primers, do we have any public comment tonight? Very much. Ms. Whitaker, could you lead us in the consent agenda, please?
Absolutely. There are 5 items on the consent agenda, and everyone knows these items are part of the board's packet that is available online a few days prior. The items are approval of financial reports, approval to accept change appropriation, and to accept and expend funds in a cash request, approval of personnel action, approval of minutes of October's regular meeting and work session.
Thank you very much. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. Ms. Reimers.
Aye. Sorry.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Vice Chair Whitaker?
Aye.
Chairman Hess?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you very much. Other matters for consideration. Dr. Parrish, the approval of second reading of changes to the policy local school wellness.
Yes, we brought the first reading of this to you at your last meeting, and just a reminder to the community as well, we are having to make changes to our wellness policy because of a change in requirements from the USDA Food and Nutrition Services. So this wellness policy aligns with those required changes. We will also have a detailed superintendent's regulation supporting the policy policy that will go into more specifics in terms of what we need to do to ensure that we meet the requirements of the federal government. We are being audited, likely this winter, our food services department, so they will be looking at our wellness policy and all the supporting documents as well. So with that said, I recommend approval of the changes brought forward to you for policy 7-511.
Thank you. Do we have a motion for approval of the second reading local school wellness policy?
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
Okay, any questions, comments?
I have a question. Is that audit, is that something that's done yearly?
No, I think this one's every 3 years, the audit that we get for this food service. So we had it 3 years, have it again this winter.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Any other questions, comments? Ms. Reimers.
Mr. Holcomb?
This time I'm ready. Aye.
Ms. Mosteller?
Aye.
Ms. Hessel?
Aye.
Ms. Sheila?
Aye.
Mr. Jordan?
Aye.
Vice Chair Whitaker?
Aye.
Chairman Cass?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you very much. Dr. Parrish, could you kick off communication tonight, please?
Yeah, I just want to reemphasize some of the information that Dr. Fox mentioned about the changes to state accreditation and as well as now the inclusion of the profile of a graduate. Those changes in accreditation will have some impact on us. We actually will have a couple years until we need to the new requirements. The first year can be either the current requirements or the new ones, but we will be talking to you extensively about this in the coming months. The governor does need to sign off on this, and we're anticipating that he'll do that in December before he leaves office. And again, we'll provide lots of information as to the community and the school. I do want to encourage parents and community members. We're upon the season where we've got a lot of activities in our school, whether it's concerts, band, choral concerts at our schools. Certainly we still have some athletic events going as well, but I do encourage folks to come. It doesn't matter if it's your child or not in the concert. Our musicians and our singers do a tremendous job, so they'll certainly get you in the spirit of the holiday. Also, as Ms. Woodruff mentioned, we are beginning our budget work. It does seem to come very quickly each year. I do have some positive information for you. We did learn today officially from the Department of Education that our local composite index has gone the right way for us, which means that we will actually see a little bit of increase in funding when we move into the budget process. So between that and our belief that we're going to see an increase in enrollment, while it's still going to be a challenge, we do think it'll be a little bit easier for us than it has past 9 years. It may be the first year where, since I've been superintendent, that we're not having reduced our budget by hundreds of thousands and some years millions. So it was good news for us today. Thank you. Those are my comments.
Would it be appropriate to adjourn the meeting on that day?
Yes.
Aye. Aye on that one. Mr. Brown.
During the month of November, the Poquoson primary students celebrated World Kindness Day and Golden Bull Day. On November 13th, the PPS students and staff wore orange for World Kindness Day and reflected on their own acts of kindness. Every student made a pledge to be kind by contributing to an I Will wall. Every student and staff member wrote an act of kindness they would do and posted it on the wall in the school. This wall has over 450 acts of kindness posted. On November 10th, PPS students celebrated Golden Bull Day. Classrooms are recognized with Golden Bull Awards for exemplary behavior outside of the classroom. Students celebrated by listening to the principal and assistant principal read aloud to them, singing and dancing. The Poquoson Elementary School celebrated Veterans Day with 250 students and parents attending at the school. The PHS band played the Star Spangled Banner. The students showed what veterans mean to them, and third grade students sang a beautiful song titled Because of You. This week, PS has a book fair that is open every day. Wednesday night is the PS Family Reading Night, and the book fair will be open until 7:30 p.m. On November 17th, 288 students were recognized for making honor roll at the Poquoson Middle School. Students received a bumper sticker, certificate, a frozen treat for their academic excellence. Over the next 3 weeks, PMS student councils will be working with 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students on career exploration, and development. Sixth grade students will be introduced to the 16 career clusters and basic career research. Seventh grade students will have the opportunity to take career interest inventory and learn the critical components of creating an academic and career plan. Eighth grade students will continue their career exploration by planning, incorporating, and the results and skills and values to the assessment into their academic and career plan. Eighth grade students will be tasked with identifying potential areas of career interest and corresponding academic goals, which will also be included in their individual plans. The Poquoson Middle School Winter Band Concert will be held on December 7th at 7 o'clock. The Chorus Winter Concert will be held on December 14th at 7. Both of these concerts will be in the PMS auditorium. The next Poquoson Middle School dance is on December 15th from 6:30 to 8:30. This dance is sponsored by the PMS Library. Our Take a Stand, Lend a Hand bullying prevention program is focusing on fairness for the second quarter. The Poquoson High School successfully concluded the first quarter and is charging full speed ahead into the second. Over last month, we hosted Czech Republic students who shared their culture and shared their culture with our community. Additionally, we hosted visitors from NASA and kicked off the high schools united with NASA to create hardware, better known as Hunch. NASA recognized PHS as being the only high school that is embracing all 5 design challenges, including Culinary Arts Challenge. Our Driver's Education Arrive Alive program students conducted numerous activities throughout the school to bring awareness to seatbelt safety, including having students pledge to buckle up each time they get into a vehicle. Students in the 11th grade traveled to Richmond to tour the Edgar Allan Poe Museum, while students in AP U.S. History toured numerous monuments in Washington, D.C., alongside several military veterans. CTE students toured the Apprentice School and learned about mechanitronics and were introduced to marketing efforts behind Disney Incorporation. Partners with PPS, our student athletes read to students at the primary school in conjunction with Read Aloud to a Child Week. The marching band once again received superior ratings at the state marching assessment. A PHS student participated in the Virginia Honor Choir. Numerous fall athletes were named to all region teams. Cross-country runners dazzled at the state meet, and all fall sports had a solid showing in the postseason. In conjunction with our ongoing bully awareness campaigns, a group of students and faculty participated with students across the peninsula in Diversity Dialogue Day at Hampton University, aimed at fostering inclusive communities in our schools. Additionally, all PHS students participated in the second Bullseye lesson of the school year, highlighting the role of a bystander in helping to stopping bullying. In the coming month, the PHS band and choral departments will perform their winter concerts. Winter sports will get underway, and our students and faculty will continue to engage in meaningful learning. Be sure to check our website for the latest accomplishments of our students and events within our community.
Thank you very much. Mr. Holcomb.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman Cast. I'd like to thank Ms. Northcutt. I was at the banquet last year when she decided to retire. I guess she wasn't serious, so I'm really glad she's still around a couple, 3 days a week. I hope we kept her office open. We need a place to put her. And I guess while we were watching the fantastic football team this year, we missed the golf team and the cross-country showing. I'm just very proud of the students who are continuing to make our public schools in Poquoson more famous. And Mr. Pappas, after hearing what our substitute drivers go through, I'm glad I'm just a lawyer. I mean, that's a lot of work, and we appreciate your help in that regard, too. I know we've been looking for drivers for a while, and thank you to the community for providing that help we needed.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mostella.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to thank the students who presented tonight. Learning multiplication tables was always very boring to me, so I'm excited to see the kids are able to learn in a fun, new way. I'd also like to congratulate all the students and volunteers that were recognized tonight and ask them to keep up their good work. The schools and the food service department did a fantastic job hosting the families for Thanksgiving lunch. So, again, I'm thankful that I'm able to do that, and they did such a great job. And last, I'd like to thank our football, wish our football team the best of luck. And title home to Poquoson.
Thank you very much. Ms. Helsel. Really? Ms. Sheila.
Yeah, no comment from me either.
Jordan.
Just wanted to commend the work of Becky Morrison with the program and initiative that she did with our veterans. Having a 90-year-old grandfather who served time in the Navy, I know it certainly brightened his day to be recognized on the field in front of the community. I think we take some of those folks for granted. It's not that we take them for granted, but I just feel that there's many instances where we forget the years of service that have paved their way for our great nation, our great country. So I know that was a very large undertaking by Ms. Morrison, but kudos to her, and it was very well done. So just wanted to thank her for that, and anyone else that assisted in that effort as well.
Thank you. Excuse me, Vice Chairman Whitaker.
I do, thank you. I have one thing tonight. As part of our consent agenda, most evenings, we are tasked with accepting and expending funds. And a lot of the time, accepting those funds is by way of donations, when people open up their wallets and give us money, and we so appreciate what they do. And we have some people here from the Poquoson Education Foundation, and they have donated several thousands of dollars over the years. I don't even want to guess how much, but part of tonight's consent agenda was also just again to mention that money. I know we've mentioned it before and we've thanked them all before work, but we're talking $3,000 and $4,000 in grants to schools, each one of our schools. And one year I was privileged to be the school board rep to this organization, and the meetings alone just wore me out, because what they talked about, their activities, what they were planning, what they had done, it was just exhausting. And these people are wonderful volunteers, and I thank them very much. And please keep up the good work. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. I just have a few brief comments tonight. I think it would be remiss if I didn't mention how much, as a school board, we appreciate our teachers, the staff, the faculty, the principals. It's amazing to me the work that you do, and I would like to publicly recognize Dr. Sayag for gracefully handling difficult situations and always putting the students first, and you're doing a great job, and we appreciate you for that. And I'd like to commend the sports teams that are going on, and also we have a group of folks in Poquoson. Some are paid staff that are coaches, and some are volunteer staff that are coaches that work tirelessly on our teams. The amount of time that they put into this, I guarantee you, if there is a small stipend that they're getting paid, if you divide it up, it probably is negative by the time they put all the hours they put into it. So the success of our teams and the leadership abilities they're instilling in our young people, it could not be measured in any other way, but it's going to pay dividends for our community in the long run. So thank you, coaches, for everything that you do. And moving on, do we have any material for board review?
We do not this evening.
Okay, we are going into a work session tonight where we are talking about school consolidation, the CIP. We're going to get an update on bullying prevention programs. And we're going to talk about the school board meeting schedule. So we have a full work session agenda. And with that, we will adjourn.